Exactly.
Um, so we had this really cool talk at Copywriting Summit on how to do headlines that was really, we both really liked, right?
Yeah, I was curious to hear why you liked it so much. I think you said it was probably your favorite class, and for me, it was probably one of the most insightful ones too.
No, I loved it. It was, yeah, really like, whoa, that they were talking about things like, is my headline too long, right?
Mm.
Right? Like super long headline, but they really got it targeted so well, that
Mm-hmm.
I thought one of the things that was interesting was actually trying to eliminate people that you don't want to go to the page.
That was my biggest key learning actually from that class. Exactly, because for me, I never thought about it that way. I would try to keep it as open as possible to get as many people as possible to read the text, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, it makes way more sense to eliminate people and to target it precisely to the people you actually want to reach.
Do you know who Joe Sugarman is?
No.
Okay, so Joe Sugarman, he wrote this book. It's an awesome book. He was one of the great all-time copywriters. He has these things, these axioms, and one of the axioms is the purpose of the first sentence is to get them to read the second sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And because if they don't read that first sentence, you're dead, right? Like,
Yeah.
you don't even count. So that headline, people spend 80% of their time on headlines. It's also like a really fun little exercise. Like, you have this really short, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you get attention? How do you get people to care? Like, how those words really work for you, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Depending on the headline style you settle, you create a completely different outcome, right?
yeah.
Or target a different person. Um, the question is when do you want to use what?
I don't know if we could
Mhm.
rewrite any of these to be better, but 7 retirement income strategies once your portfolio reaches. So I do like that it eliminates everybody below 500K.
Or everyone who's not aiming to reach that level, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This, the definitely regret literally every decision.
That eliminates everyone who doesn't like that informal voice, like me included.
Yeah.
To me, it sounds super unprofessional, so I would never click on that one, which is fair.
Right.
It talks to a very specific audience. Mm-hmm.
Life is up to you. 8 choices that will make your life better. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you could make it more specific. Like,
Well, I was already thinking, like, if it would only be 8 choices that will make your life better, it would be very unspecific, right? By saying life is up to you, you already kind of specify that you're responsible. You need to change something to make it better. But yeah, you could definitely. Oh, where is it?
sorry, I'm trying to make it big enough so you can see it without squinting.
You can definitely make it more specific.
I mean, I would want to know, are they financial choices?
Exactly. Financial, job wise,
8 career choices.
relationship wise. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, it's very general.
What will our COVID future be like? Here are 2 signs to look out for. Like, here are the 2 most dangerous. Like,
Yeah. The headline is weird, like 2 signs to look out for. What does it mean in that context? 2 signs? I would rather like to know how to deal with the COVID future, right? But that's a completely different content piece then.
right.
Here are 2 strategies how to deal with our COVID future.
Right. Yeah. A little bit more hands-on, practically sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the stories, let's see, I think I flipped these. Story is,
It's
I
like,
rearranged these earlier today. Let me just see if I don't know what I did with story. Too bad. Okay. So the story,
the
this was
story. Yeah,
this was weird, kind
this
of.
was. It is, right? And especially they talked about in a story, a lot of times people only tell the beginning in the headline, right? And then
Yeah.
leave the end open to create curiosity. But that's not how it works, right? You want to kind of create the curiosity by kind of showing the full picture without sharing too many details, right? You need to show, okay, this is where you started and this is how it ends. And then yeah, the night she laid on top of my husband, I mean, it definitely triggers some curiosity. You kind of want to know how it ended, but they kind of included some ending too, right? Or
Yeah, and I kind of don't care because I don't know who Henya Drescher is, and I don't
exactly.
care.
Like,
Like,
and like maybe at least what I've learned from like lessons learned from this for future relationships, or something a bit more specific.
yeah, that it's kind of it's a really a weird way to say it too. She laid on top of my husband. Like, that sounds like you're talking about cheating spouses.
Probably. Yeah.
Like, my life was devastated the night I came home to my cheating husband or something, or my life changed, something that would be more of a story, like, okay, the 37-year-old launched a social media company with 400,000 users while keeping his day job. That's pretty darn good. Like,
Exactly, and that's following the concept, right? You've reached an amazing outcome, even though the beginning was kind of like normal, right? He's still working and still reached that. The same with a US guy here on the right. He left the US and now lives in Bali and making this and that amount of money.
yeah, so that's
Like,
your target audience, right? Is going to be in their 30s ish, I imagine.
or is someone that is willing to start over, right? Wants to move somewhere else and needs some proof that it actually works.
Yeah, so they're probably not married. They're probably aren't tied down in a job. They're right. So that definitely gets really focused. This was this is curious. I learned being betrayed by my 6 closest friends growing up. Like, first of all, 6 close.
Yeah,
That's a
that
lot.
it is. It kind of makes me curious to see who the author is. Why the
This
heck would that
guy,
person get betrayed by all his friends, you know? And
yeah,
it's a guy.
this is the dude who was giving the course. Nicholas Cole this is one of
Really?
his headlines. Yeah.
Jeez. Huh. Interesting. Kind of makes me feel sorry for him right away.
This is definitely a shocker.
I actually Googled that one after I read this headline.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It does, it piques your curiosity, right? Like, how can you even have a kid at 5? Like,
Exactly. That's why I Googled it. And it turns out she had a condition where your sexual organs develop faster than usual. She had her first period at age 3, which is crazy.
what?
Yeah. It's a
Right?
very unusual case.
That is that's a shocker. Okay, so the opinion, let's see. Most people think X, I don't. Everyone says X, I say the opposite. Conventional wisdom says, here's why that's wrong.
And I think here it's super important, right, that you actually include the credibility, because so many times I find something on the internet and then I'm like, why should I care about your opinion? Who are you to tell me that this is gonna happen, right? I mean, it's one thing if Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs says something in a headline, or if someone that I've never heard of before says something. So actually, there is a Jeff Bezos example right here. Exactly. Yeah, that's why I think I've never written an opinion piece before, because like, why would people care about me saying something, right? Like the building up the credibility first.
Yeah.
Or like, is the customer, like writing an opinion piece for a customer also kind of requires a certain level of credibility in their field, right? You can't, like, if there is a very small player, it probably won't work. So
Yeah, right. Like this guy here, I've dealt with foreign cyber attacks. I don't want to see, you know, like, definitely would want to know who that was, right? Like former head of Homeland Security or something. I don't know. Like,
I think, yeah, a way to use this strategy though is to jump on someone else's credibility, right? If we would write a piece about copywriting or whatever and claim someone else's credibility, like the famous copywriter you talked about earlier, right? Who wrote the Adweek book.
yeah,
like, according to one of the
Joe
most successful
Sugarman.
copywriters, this
Yeah.
and this, blah, blah, blah. That would work.
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah, this one I didn't really get. Like, maybe if you know the person, Mata Schneider.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't see how that is.
I mean, it's clever wordplay, but it's not. It's clear that he's gonna try to say Bitcoin is worthless, but we kind of already know that.
Yeah, I would be interested to see why he says, like, who is he to say that, right? Is he a trader? Is he, I don't know, a financial guru?
Yeah, and you better really quickly prove to me he's not just a ranting idiot,
exactly,
right? Like
someone that just lost millions in Bitcoins because, yeah, he didn't know what he was doing.
According to several millionaires, there's only one way to invest. Like that, it lacks credibility. Like, according to 5,000 millionaires or something that's like several, like, why do I care about
you could
several?
be more specific, right? Who are those millionaires? But it's all, I don't know. I would be curious. I think I would click on it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would want to know, okay, who are the millionaires and why, what are they doing? It's better than just saying like, there's only one way to invest, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, you can specify more. According to several millionaires like Steve Jobs, whatever.
Yeah. If that said several, according to these 3 billionaires, like you'd even take billionaire, or if it said according to Warren Buffett, or yeah, totally could make that punchier, right?
But probably it's not famous millionaires, and that's why they couldn't specify it more.
Yeah.
So that's
right.
Yeah.
The question, so what's the answer to X? Here you go. How does this happen? Here's how. Want to learn X? Read this. Do people understand X? Turns out no. So we have, for example,
I really like this one. I like the first one on the left and the top because it's totally random. Why does Roblox pay 1.2 million to a single developer? It's not a question I would ever ask myself, right? I would probably ask myself, like, yeah, where should I invest my money right now? Like in the bottom right. But like, I never asked myself how much developer is making at Roblox, but it creates so much curiosity that I would probably click on it, right? I would want to know why the heck they pay so much money. And I like this one because you can basically write any piece of content and kind of create so much curiosity about it by asking a question in the headline instead of using a different style, right?
Mm-hmm.
Headline style.
Yeah, I think there's, kind of this fascination with developers, at least here in Silicon Valley, and how much these people get paid. So to like be going, wow, I've heard of 400,000 or 500,000 a year, but why did they pay 1.2 million? Yeah.
And you don't even have to be a developer yourself, right? To wonder why the heck they get paid so much. Everyone wants to know, kind of.
Well, it's money, right? Like one of the things I've been, really kind of realizing over the past couple of weeks is just how much people love money. And how much like other people are making and how much they're making and how they can make more. And
But is that a thing you actually talk about in the US? Salaries? Would you share yours?
Yeah, like salary.com. Have you ever heard of salary.com?
No, is that for US?
Yeah, it's for US salaries. So basically people anonymously share their salary information.
Yeah, we have something similar.
It's the stigma though. You don't talk about how much you're making. So for somebody to be like 1.2 million, whoa, that's should the US quit buying Russian oil?
I feel like those questions are really tricky though, because you need to break down your whole text into one single question. You need to summarize it. Like it's so specific, right? It's probably the headline style that cuts out the most readers. Because if that one reader is not interested in that one specific question, he's not going to read it. Whereas the other styles are more open in a way.
Yeah, like you're saying, this is going to pretty much be a political piece, probably, right? If you're not into politics, or this is all about paying taxes and finances. So this is like it's such a small number. Right?
Yeah, but it targets like normal people, right? That don't earn 1.2 million.
You got $1,000 to throw away. Here's the place to stick it.
Yeah.
What is Web.3? So something like why Web3 is going to change your life, explained by a 12-year-old. Or explained. So maybe rewriting this headline, say how Web3 is going to change your life. Even a 12-year-old could understand how Web3 is going to change your life, or something like that. Or
well, I like that part, explain simply to a 12-year-old. But yeah, I reading this, I don't care what is Web3. Like why should I know, right?
Yeah, totally.
So exactly, yeah, as you said, like why or how Web3 is going to change your life, or why you should know Web3. No.
Yeah, why you need to know how Web3 is going to change everything for content and make it more specific, like for content creators specifically. I think that's one of the things about Web3 is it's supposed to make it easier for, Web3, whatever, it's a jargon, but it's supposed to make it easier for content creators to get rewarded. So like, yeah.
But if Derek posted that on Utopian, he knows that everyone that reads it is already a content writer, right? So he doesn't need to specify the headline. So that's
this. I'm just looking here.
Yeah.
This format looks like it's coming off of Medium. Off of a Medium kind of, or maybe it's Twitter. No, it's Medium, I think. Because that's the format that are.
Oh, but Isn't it just the
See,
I
like,
don't know.
let me see, this is way too small for you. So that's
Look,
how
no, not exactly though. But it's similar, yeah.
they have, yeah,
They
so
have
like,
groups. Yeah. Oh, it could be.
anyways, all right, we got, say, 3 or 4 more minutes. We got the, what, the framework.
Yeah, that's the how-to post, right? Which you can find for all kinds of blog posts. I like it. For me, they are my favorite posts to read myself, actually.
Which
Because I
one?
feel like I get it. The how-to one, the framework ones.
Well, it's something you can do too, right?
Exactly. They're like, I know exactly, oh, this post is going to help me to become better in some sort of way, right?
Yeah, I think that's from a content perspective is a huge thing. We all want to know, you
How
know,
I can benefit.
how to get rich, how to get a whatever 1 terabyte iCloud storage for free without tipping Apple. A simple writing formula to get 100,000 email subscribers.
Yeah, I think it's the easiest headline format to actually show the benefits right directly in the headline, right?
Yeah.
Why the reader should continue reading.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This clear, not clever.
Mm-hmm.
That's so hard.
It
If you
is.
love playing with words.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So that was good, right? The 3 questions every reader's asking. Who's it
And
for?
then
What's it
again.
about? Why should they read it? This is kind of kept coming up for us, right? That by making it a how-to article, we can say why you should read it. I think that does the
And
best.
yeah, and here something important they said, right? Like, okay, what are you promising? But you also need to make sure that in the actual text you deliver on that promise. I mean, your headline could be as good, as amazing as possible, right? But if you don't deliver on that in the text, the reader is going to be gutted, right?
Yes, and they're going to be disappointed. And yeah, one of the other things that he said that I thought was so interesting is that if you deliver on your promise, you could have a reader for life. You know, if people know that they're going to get what you promise, I don't know. I think especially if you're like building, well, if your name is associated with it, right? Like, because if the name isn't associated with it, then they're not going to ever remember. They'll be lucky to remember who you are and give a crap, right? Well, I know this was, thank you for trying this experiment. I think that when we got into the slides and we started going down through and just kind of talking about the slides, that was really a lot easier. Like, it's so hard to, headlines are so tough, right? Like,
they are. And for me, they always require a lot of thinking.
yeah.
I love like I do kind of the same way as you. Like, I love to just write down a lot of different versions and then trying to merge them in the end. But for me, it's really difficult to discuss them with someone else before I've written them down.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think, yeah, it really helped that to have those different styles written down and to kind of have this framework, right, to work with, and to it helps to think about creating different sorts of content pieces and not always stick to the list post or the how-to post. I really want to try an opinion one at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm going to go through and try to do more of those. I feel like if you can unlock it, it's one of the most powerful things you can do to, like, you know, hook people and really grab their attention. So,
Yeah.
I thank you for your time too.
Thank you so much too. Yeah.
Thanks for experimenting.
Yeah. No, it's nice. It's a nice format, actually. I like it.
Right?
Yeah, and it's good to go through it and discuss it with other people. I mean, during class, it goes by so fast, right? You don't really have time to discuss it in your own head even. So
it's yeah, there's this technique for remembering, and it's a good tip to remember. If you don't rehearse something, like go over it, what you learned, within 20 minutes, you forget 35% of it. And within 24 hours, you forget 65% of it. So it's like, you know, if you're not using it and kind of reviewing it, it just goes away, right?
It does. And that was one of my biggest challenges during the summit, because we had such a short break, like 5 minutes mostly only between the different classes, right?
Yeah.
So, and I always wanted to take a bunch of notes after each class, but almost impossible, not enough time. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, perhaps we'll get to do this again.
Probably, maybe. Let's see.
I'm down for it. I mean, you know, it's cool. I took a ton of screenshots, so
Yeah, sorry for my quality of the webcam. It's a bit shitty.
It's okay. Well, ciao for now. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too.